welcoming everyone into the show. So I'm going to allow you to connect. This is 5 minutes before we actually take off, as it were. I'm going to allow you to connect and invite your friends and share and plug in and ask people who you want to be a part of the show today to connect on the show. So we're just going to take about 4 or 5 minutes to allow people to connect and let me know if you've connected with us. Say hello, say hi, so that I know that you're here. We are formally taking off at 7 o'clock. For those who didn't get the memo, our new time is 7 o'clock. So we start to air at 7 from today. We've had a number of requests, people who want to be a part of the show, who perhaps are still at work, but those who are in the front line and those who have to, do the essentials, wanting the chance to be able to settle in with us later in the evening. So we've moved the time to 7 o'clock. So if you're joining us, if you're here with us already, connect and say hello. Let me know that you're here. Tell me what your day's been like. If you've been in isolation, what has it been like for you? If you've gone to work and you're back home now, what is that like for you as well? I'm waiting for people. I can see that people are joining us now. Send a waiver, send a word, say something, say hello, Yemi, say hi, wherever you're at. Let me know that you're here. Let me see your beautiful faces. I see people connecting with us already. Yes, it's lovely to have you. Hi, Faith. I can see you, Faith. Thank you for joining us, Faith. B. Aki, the favor. You said it's your first time joining in from Dallas. Oh, that's beautiful. It's great to have you with us on the show. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Dallas. And I hope that everyone is keeping well. So tell me, Faith, what's your day been like? And B. Favor, all the way from Dallas. B. Akinde, what's your day been like as well? Tell me quickly, right? Before we officially take off at 7 o'clock. You've got your time now, so let's use it well, right? Let's see what your day's been like. I've got Mosun Olipe also joining us from the UK. It's great to have you with us for the first time. So I don't think I've seen you on the show before, but it's great to have you with us today. Joyce Chika, thank you for joining us on the show. Share. Faith says, I've been working from home and before noon, I wanted to go home. Such a stressful day. Oh, I hope it gets better for you. I hope it gets better, Faith. And don't forget that you have to still take your me time. Whatever it is that you're doing, you still have to take your me time. All right. Des Graffiti. Oh my goodness. Des is a great friend, a fellow goggle boxer. So it's great to see Des on Sharing with Yemi. We're bringing Goggle Box into Sharing with Yemi now. Hi, Des. How is the clan? How is everyone? We miss you all. I suppose we all miss ourselves now at this stage, but we'll be back soon enough. So yes, keep joining in, guys. It's great to see you all. B. Akinde says, thanks, ma'am. Been working from home. Stuck with 2 rugrats. Always interrupting my meetings. I hear you. And I know the feeling. Exactly. I know that feeling. So you're not alone on this, right? But it's great that you're sharing that experience with us. Thank you so, so much. We've got people joining in as well. We've got 1 more minute before we kick off formally. So take the chance to say hi, share with your friends, share with your family, start a watch party, get people in to start watching. I'll tell you what we're talking about today, and it might interest you. We're talking about how we can mind our mental health. There are a number of people that are struggling with their mental well-being. And so today we want to go there and see how people are feeling as it is, and see how we can help people live better lives. And most importantly, find that me time that a lot of us seem to be struggling with this day. How do we find the me time? How do we get that? So we try and see how we can help people achieve that today. I've got amazing guests lined up. You wouldn't believe it. These are fantastic women. Today is a show for the ladies. I've got beautiful sisters who are joining me from different parts of the world and who are going to share the experience and also share of their expertise. How we can mind our mental health and how we can live better lives and find that me time as well. So do connect with us wherever you're at. And yes, 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 yes. So it's 7 o'clock and we are live on Sharing with Yemi. Welcome to another episode of Sharing with Yemi. Thank you so much. Our first time streaming live on Facebook from last week has been such a fantastic experience. The traction has been brilliant. The feedback has been awesome. And we've had really great suggestions from people as well. One of which is that perhaps we move the time a little further to about 7, which we have done. And that shows that we listen. You speak, we listen. The idea is for us to share. And I'm glad that we're getting the time and the opportunity to share together on Sharing with Yemi. My name is Yemi Adenuga. I am your host, and you'll be sharing with me today. So this day, today, we're talking about our mental well-being. A lot of us have practically forgotten what that is like because we're so bogged down we're bogged down with all the worries and all the cares in the world. And we forget to pay attention to that missing link that allows us to be human. And the minute we stop being human, it means something has gone wrong and things need to be fixed again. So I've got with me this evening fantastic women who are going to share of their experiences and share of their expertise with us, how we can stay focused on being well while we're doing all the amazing things that we're doing as people across now. So I don't want you to feel that it's an all women's show today. Well, if it feels that way, it means that the women are doing great things still. So I'm going to introduce my first guest. She's a fantastic woman who has been helping hundreds and hundreds of people across the globe with her work in living better health. My first guest today is Shirley Tutti. Hi, Shirley. Say hi to everyone.
Hi everyone, I'm so honored and pleased to be here with you all. It's just amazing. Yemi got in touch with me today and I was just absolutely blown away to know that I could come on and offer something to all of you out there and contribute. So my name is Shirley Tutti. I'm a health and wellness coach and I have different ways of looking at health and wellness. So I'm going to just talk about 3 on my introduction just to know what I use personally and what I can talk to you about today. So one of them comes from the heart, and that's heartfulness meditation. It's a beautiful meditation, Yemi, to get our heads to we require our heads, but it's just to get out of our heads and to come into that heart space. The other beautiful practice, and what I do, is something called access bars, so that when we come out of the heart space and we have to live our lives and speak to each other, how we speak in a way to each other that's very conscious, but also to ourselves, because we must start loving and being with ourselves. And then the third way that I look at all of this for mental health and well-being is I use these beautiful essential oils called doTERRA essential oils. And these oils, I'm a team leader with teams across the globe, and these are really helpful because I'm all about empowering each other, empowering ourselves and empowering each other in that health and mental space. And they're my 3 really go-tos. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thanks for joining us, Shirley. I'm
Thank
glad to
you.
have you on the show
I'm
today.
delighted.
I'm going to
Thank you.
introduce my next guest. My next guest is joining us all the way from um, Kenya, and she lives in Kenya. Hi, Trish. It's lovely to have you with us today. Say
Hi,
hi,
Yemi.
Trish.
Hi, Yemi. Thank you so much for inviting me to your show. It's an absolute pleasure and an honor. Hello to everybody who's logged online. I am looking forward to this discussion.
Very good. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Trish.
Okay, so um, I am a mother of 2, which currently right now is what seems to be the leading occupation with all this quarantine that's going on. And let me say, in my spare time when I'm not mothering, I'm a wife, and of course, a business owner. I own a business called Women in Particular and reach their wellness goals. So we offer mobile spa services, counseling services, and a whole range of services to ensure that people find that balance that they need in order to get better.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much, Trish. And Trish lives in Kenya, but you're from Zimbabwe.
Yes, what can I say? I'm a bit of a Pan-African child with a bit of South Africa, a bit of Mozambique, and now a bit of Kenya and Zimbabwe. So we're
Oh,
definitely
wow. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for joining us on the show, Trish. We'll be chatting to you a little later on. So I will introduce my next guest. My next guest is a powerhouse as well here in Ireland. And welcome, Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me. Tell us about yourself, Sarah.
So, I'm Sarah Maria, and I am self-love and relationship coach, guiding women to reclaim their power back. And this topic of mental health and well-being is so near and dear to my heart. And I think this is the best time to really find something within each of us that we can relate to, that we can do something. The world outside is chaotic, but the world within us doesn't have to match that. So, I'm just excited to have this conversation.
Oh, thank you. I really love that bit you said there. The world outside is chaotic, but the world inside doesn't have to match that. I suppose if we listen to that quite a bit, if we remember that all the time and we listen to it over and over again in our heads, that will help us create some kind of balance. I love that.
Exactly.
Thank you for kicking us off with that. Thank you. And I will be coming back. I'll be coming back to you shortly again. So I'm going to introduce my next guest. So I told you I've got quite a number of guests with me on the show today. My next guest is one perhaps known to a number of people, a number of people who live in Ireland. Hi, Gladys.
Hey, hi Yemi. How are you today?
I'm great. She's called MC Shakara.
That's
Gladys,
me.
it's great to have you on the show. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Yemi. It's a pleasure being on the program. I've started watching way before we went on Facebook. I started watching Sharing with Yemi on TV. So it's a privilege, it's an honor to be on the program with you today. My name is Gladys, but my friends call me MC Shakara. I'm an event host and comedian. I help I organize a program that promotes positive mental well-being through entertainment because I believe in the power of humor. We
Mm,
we undermine laughter, whereas laughter is therapeutic, is healing. So I believe that laughter helps all of us in any way. So whatever might be going on around us, we don't lose the gift of laughter. So that's
mm.
what I'm all about. I help promote positive mental well-being through entertainment, and I'm also a parent to a special needs child. And given the chaos that is all around us today, it's been more challenging, but not impossible, to help my child as well have a balanced mental well-being. So it's a pleasure to be here this evening.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you with me on the show. And so we're going to kick off. First, I want to first address how people are feeling currently, and I'm going to bring I suppose three of you on at the same time. Trish, I'm going to have you back on at this point. Shirley, I'm going to have you back on, and I want us to address, I'm going to have Sarah back on in a few minutes, but I want us to address how we think people are feeling currently as a result of what has just engulfed the entire globe. I'll start with you, Shirley.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I reckon the majority who have been maybe not been connecting to their inner self and have lived life in kind of that the rat race, and maybe being just living to pay bills and not really taking a moment to pause and see what we really are here for. I reckon a lot of people who have come to whereby the chaos is inside and outside, Yemi, that's going to be a very difficult place for people to be in. But for those who have been knowing that something there is an awakening and something was coming, I think for those who may have been living a little bit more of a balanced spiritual life, this is not a big upset in their life. Yeah.
So people who have been living a balanced spiritual, mental, and social life will not find this challenging at all. They just key into the normal everyday life. So what that's saying to me is, if we get through this, please God, we get through this. When we get through this, we start to live a life that allows us to build a balance and not just go rush, rush, rush through everyday life. Trish, do you agree with that?
I agree with her completely. I think more than anything, balanced life, struggling to get there or not, I think this pause has brought a lot of good, and it really comes down to what you choose to focus on as an individual. So having a positive attitude is really what's going to get us through, and making an effort to seek the balance and to take things in the moment and not worry so much about the future is what's really gonna get us through this difficult period. And I completely agree with what she said.
Okay, so Gladys, Trish just said there that we take the moment and we try to stick the balance. It's not always the easiest of things to do. You will know from experience. You've had challenges in life with your mental well-being, and I suppose that's the reason you started what you're doing, Laugh Out Loud. Would you share a bit of your experience with us in that regard?
Oh, in as much as we try to say that things have not changed, life is no longer the usual. It is no longer business as usual. I was involved in an accident many years ago in which I lost 3 fingers on my right hand. And one of the things that helped me during that period was my sense of humor. Immediately while on that ground, on the accident scene, I knew that it was no longer life as usual. I had to adjust. So now people are adjusting to the situation. And the thing is, but the challenge is, how do we adjust? What strategies do we have or put in place to help us adjust and manage the situations that is outside us? For instance, let's look at the issue of social distancing. I ran into a neighbor of mine that just had a baby a couple of weeks ago. When she had the baby, we didn't see. So while on our usual daily stroll, my son and I, we ran into her. From the other side of the road, she waved at me. I couldn't go to her to say hello or even see the baby, and she couldn't come across to me because of the social distancing. So when she walked away, for the first time, I was touched by the impact of what we're going through. Some of us by nature, yes. In fact, I was teary eyed. I couldn't go to her. She couldn't come to me. We had to wave to each other. So that takes a bit of mental adjustment, and it's also emotional for us, particularly people that are battling any form of mental challenge, either depression, anxiety, or whatever it is. But there are strategies that we can use to manage this situation, like digital technology. We can connect, we can also use to connect with one another, so that we might be socially distant, but we don't have to be emotionally distant with each other. So being able, with my own challenge, having gone through depression and also parenting a child with special needs, I had to learn to adjust to the situation, not let the situation bend me per se, but learn strategies that will help me. Like, I have three strategies that I follow. People, people, it's important that we connect to people. Then I have a special word. Yeah, a special word. These are words of affirmation that I tell myself, no matter what is going on, no matter how chaotic it is outside, it doesn't have to be chaotic within me. So it is how I approach the world. I have set in a filter that whatever news I'm getting, it has to pass through a filter to get through to me. The world
Mm,
outside, there are so many, confusing news all about that. It could mess up anybody, no matter how balanced you are. So you have to
mm,
set up parameters, inner filters to know what comes into your heart, what you allow
mm.
into your space. If not, we'll all be broken and messed up at the end of the day. So having these strategies, people, community, and words of affirmation helped me through challenging times. And these words have also helped me now because I've never
Mm.
experienced a situation like this before. Nobody has ever experienced a situation like this before. So having a healthy mindset and developing strong positive strategies will also help us in this trying period as they have helped me. And all I have to do is dig in the past, find those things that help me, and apply them into the situation, and I get the same positive result.
Wow, very powerful strategies there. And I think one that really sticks out is people. I think
Yeah,
now we're beginning to appreciate the power that we hold as people, even in connecting with ourselves, the things that we've
absolutely.
taken for granted. I'm going to
Absolutely.
bring Sarah on now, and I would love Sarah to also share. I mean, like Sarah, you are now in the wellness space. Tell me how you came about getting into the wellness space.
Well, I have been through the ringer myself. I've
Mm,
gone through depression twice, and just having to navigate through life really,
mm,
because I believe that life is our biggest teacher. Life is a school in essence. So it came to me that, like, how you deal with situations, like, the world is going to shift and change all the
mm,
time. The only constant in life is change. So no matter what it is that you're doing, you have to adapt to each situation. And that has really been what I've learned throughout my life, really.
mm. Were you able to identify, Sarah, when you said you've gone through depression twice? Were
Yeah,
you able to identify the things that caused you to go into depression? Were you able to identify them?
yeah, absolutely. When my long-term relationship ended, but it didn't. It's kind of double-edged sword because
Mm,
other things were piling up on top of that as well. So it wasn't just because it ended. It was
mm.
just like this as well on top of everything else.
Yes.
And then even before then, I used to live in Holland in the Netherlands, and that place was so gloomy and dark for me that I just
Mm.
kind of have blocked certain parts of it just for self-preservation. But it was such a, like, I think that that's when the environment got to me too much, and I didn't
So
have the
tell
tools to navigate.
to navigate. So now you're out of those two dark times in your life. Let's
Yeah.
go to the how. I mean, like a number of you have shared what you've been through. Let's go to the how. I probably would ask Trish as well, and Shirley, if they've had moments in their lives as well when they felt that their mental well-being has been threatened. I will start with you, Sarah, again. How were
Hmm.
you able to navigate and come out of that difficult time?
I think support
Mm,
is a huge thing. And a lot of people struggle with asking for support, asking for what they need. So when you're going through a tough situation, people tend to isolate themselves. They tend
mm,
to not want to ask, or they tend to not want to talk about it because I'm just me, and my problems in the grand scheme of things aren't that big of a deal. So who am I to ask for help from somebody else? You know? So I
so
feel
people
that
shouldn't be
whenever.
afraid to ask for help.
Exactly. So one of the hows for me personally has been when I felt weak, I've had people around me that I could lean on, and I would be saying to them, "Hey, I'm having a tough moment right now. I need to lean on you. I need your support in this moment. If they can't give that to me, then there's somebody else who can. But even just that awareness or that recognition that that something's not right or that you need to be supported is huge.
Hmm. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I think it's really powerful that we need to recognize that we have to take the help that is around us. That's one thing that people are always afraid to take on. Let me come to you now, Trish. Do you find that people find it difficult to ask for help? I mean, you work with people, you work with clients in different parts of the world. Do you find that sometimes you have to try and get your clients to take what you even have to offer as a service, and take it as a remedy for the situation they're going through?
I think it's definitely very difficult for people to accept help,
Mm,
especially in this day and age of the modern woman who can do it all by herself.
mm,
So, somewhere along the line, it's been ingrained into our minds that we should be able to do everything and do it all by ourselves, which is not true.
mm,
Particularly in Africa, the way the community has been built from our forefathers is a communal way of attacking challenges. But as things have changed and people have become more modern, we don't know how to ask for help anymore. And it's always such a struggle to pull clients out of that um, mindset of having to do it all on their own. And it definitely takes a lot of work because, I mean, the modern world has brought in a lot of noise about how you should be self reliant. Even small things like DIY, we all love it, but it's just pushing us to keep adding more and more pressure on us being able to do things on our own. So it's a big, big challenge. But for those who do allow themselves to get help, for those who do allow themselves to not be the superwoman and to accept that it's okay, let me focus on what I can do and let somebody else help me on the things that I can't do. It's it's a big challenge, Yemi, but then I think with support systems that seem to be coming up more and more, especially online platforms, I think people are now
mm.
accepting that it is okay to not be able to do it all. And
I
I
love
found
the
it
phrase that I always hear people use: it's okay not to be okay. I've heard
indeed
people say that a lot. It's okay not to be
not to
okay.
be okay. Yeah.
Yes. And I think people need to hear that a lot more, that if you're not feeling okay, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Everyone has moments when they're not feeling okay. So if you're not feeling okay, it's okay. That's a message that perhaps we can drive through for people today. Shirley, tell us how you help people get out of the situations or the mindsets they're in when they're not feeling okay.
Absolutely, Yemi. I suppose going back to myself personally, when I
Oh, you're
split up
also
with my
sorry.
daughter's father, she was only 2 years of age. I knew that that relationship was not going to work.
Can you
And
reframe
that
the
was where
question?
probably one of my toughest times
Okay, hang
was.
on, Sarah. We're with Shirley now, and then I'll come back to you, Sarah.
So that was probably where one of my toughest times. I've had many tough times, I suppose, and if we were looking at that idea of being depressed, but that was where I
Mm,
really had to reach out to something greater than myself, and that's where I started to meditate. And I found, even though I lived in India and Africa and South America, and I'd come home, I had to be coming home to my homeland, to my roots, before I could connect with something greater, which is interesting. It's a practice of meditation that comes from India. But even though I was in India in 97 and I was back home, and this is in 2005, it was only then, or 2003, I found this particular meditation. And the beautiful thing about it is, and I'm a facilitator of it, and I can lead people online, and I don't have to be physically in their presence. It's an amazing way to connect to one's own inner guide, because what happens is, and what this life has shown us in modernity, is that there has been a
mm,
disconnect between ourselves and nature, God, higher self, whatever that is. There's an actual disconnect, and we're the ones that sense that disconnection. So what I do daily is I actually do this wonderful process of meditation, which is connecting with the divine light in the heart and sitting for 10 minutes to 1 hour. And people don't have to do it for that long. We can do little micro sessions, because I know with families, and there's many people on, and they're at very young ages in their families, where to get an hour is not going to be possible in their life. But it's about connecting into the inner and getting present and conscious with one's own inner self. And if we could even do little micro, and I teach people how to do micro heartfulness sessions, but also longer sessions. And that's something that was my lifeline as I was going through that breakup and redeveloping who I was outside of any relationship other than the relationship with myself, Shirley. Yeah.
Wow. So relationship with self is very, very key. People
Absolutely.
have to connect with, find a relationship with themselves. And what that's saying to me is, if you don't have a relationship with yourself, how are you supposed to have a relationship with people? How are you supposed to get along with people and build a good relationship with people? And you mentioned there as well, Shirley, about a higher power. Not too many people believe in a higher power. Can you talk a bit more about that? What that's supposed to do for us?
Yeah, so I suppose ultimately we don't, I suppose, saying there's a higher power. Someone could call it God. That could be the anthropomorphical God that is, Jesus, and a God, a heavenly Father who is sitting somewhere looking after us. It could be the earth's energy. It could be something that is our own higher self that we're connecting into. So again, but it's not about giving power, like total. I suppose there's a difference between power over and surrendering. So it's about, so there can be even a conflict in that, in someone having a power over and then someone surrendering. But I believe it's a surrendering into whatever that higher power is for you, whether it's God, whether it's your own inner intuition that, again, our modern society has tried to stop us feel our intuition. We as women are supposedly meant to feel it much more than men, and that can lead that men are in a more difficult place than women are at the minute. So it's whatever the connection is within you that you connect with is the most important thing. There's no judgment on it. It's not like what I believe in and someone else doesn't believe in. That doesn't matter. It's about what we know to connect into our heart. And I point to my heart, our heart, where our compassion, where our unified field is. Because if we remember, the brain is right and left, Yemi. So if we make decisions from our right brain or our left brain, they're in polarity, they're in opposites. And the heart is something that's more unified. And I suppose this virus, COVID-19, you could look at it as something that's manifested by Earth, as something that is bringing us together, and it could be seen as something to love ourselves more and our neighbors, and I don't believe we're ever given anything that we can't overcome. Never. We really can, and it's shown how we're all connecting together, that we are a power between us all, and we are all connecting. So yeah, I think that higher forces, whatever someone believes it could be God, but it could be the universe's consciousness. It is whatever that is for that person, but it's about the connection within and being present. And if there's very stressed mothers and fathers at the minute across the globe, it might be just to try and go inwards, if it's only for 30 seconds, and whether it's a prayer or an intention, it's whatever that is for the people here, or to try something different and to build a muscle that will help people to just go, I can breathe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Very, very key.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pragmatically basic tools that we forget because we can be so caught up and on a high, and we're, ah, and if our children and
Yeah.
our rugrats are at us, I mean, then we're not, we might get
True.
hoarse, and we're all living in these small contained spaces. So I would really just say breathe, connect, and just ask questions, well, what is the gift in this for me? What's the gift in it for
Absolutely.
humanity? What's the
Absolutely.
contribution? Is it really, a disguise of love? Like, what's the play here? Yeah. So that's how I would work with my clients.
Wow, thank you so much, Shirley.
You're
That is
so
so
welcome.
powerful. Thanks for sharing that. And while you were speaking, Pat, who's joined us, said, so well said, Shirley, journeying to our inner selves and forming a relationship with ourselves and our own higher power of choice is the key and is essential. So she does agree with you. Thank you so much, Shirley. I'm going to go to Gladys now. And Gladys, I would love you to share with us. You've run your own event. It's called Laugh Out Loud. You've run it now
Absolutely.
for how many years? How many years have you been running that
Um,
event?
6 years going on 7 now.
6 years going on 7. That long.
Yes. I'm an
Goodness me.
old timer.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me why you started Laugh Out Loud. Tell us why you started Laugh Out Loud in the first place.
Okay. Actually, 3 reasons. I had 3 reasons for starting. It actually, the discussion started on Facebook. Somebody asked a simple question. What would you do and you do happily if called upon to do, any spontaneous thing that you can do? And I looked within myself that I can do comedy. So that was one. The second one, I had battled the depression. I battled pre and postnatal depression. So, and I wanted a way to be able to help others that are going through such challenges. And I also wanted an opportunity to raise funds for special needs children because of my connection by having a special needs child. So I put all this together. I said, I have a sense of humor and I wanted to help people that are going through challenges. And I said, a lot of people are inundated by information. You have news stories and all that. I needed a simple strategy to help people that are going through depression and helping them. And when I started, the first time it was free. I just wanted my friends to come together. And I was afraid until somebody told me, she said that Gladys, if you hold the event and one person turns up, you are a success. And that gave me the encouragement to go. And the first time we had 30 people. And after the event, somebody walked up to me and said, "Oh, when is the next one? I don't mind paying." I decided to add value to what we're doing by, using that as an opportunity to raise funds. I've raised funds for St. Laserian School for special needs children, I think 5 years in a row. I've raised funds for Samaritans. I've raised funds for Mental Health Reform Ireland. So that's how it started. And one thing that also encouraged me, that keeps me going, no matter how difficult or challenging it is to put this event together. One day while walking, an Irish woman walked up to me, stopped me. She said, "Oh, that she introduced herself and she said she came to my program the previous
Mm.
year." I didn't know, of course, I didn't know her. And she said that I don't know what the program did for her that day. That prior to attending that program, she was sad. She was in a very bad place. But she came in, she was relaxed, she laughed, and she was able to view proper challenges through a lighter lens. Sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves, and sometimes we see whatever we're going through a darkened lens of pain. But when we're able to sit back and let like something like fresh air, the way you air your house to let out toxic, like when after you've been enclosed for a long time and you open your windows, that fresh feeling. So
Yeah.
coming to that event helped her, to go through, to see her challenges, not undermining or underpinning whatever she was going through or making light of it, but she was able to have a different perspective. So
Mm.
I believe that laughter is a gift, and it's been a pleasure sharing it. And it's no matter I look forward to doing this every year, and the value of being able to raise funds and give other organizations that I know that are doing very well. Like when my son first started attending St. Laserian School for special needs children, he was non-verbal. You can hear him now. He was
Yes, we can hear him in
non-verbal.
the background.
Yeah, he was non-verbal. And 2 years into this school program, the words started coming. And I must say
Wow.
that one thing that has been of benefit in quotes since we went into this isolation, a lot of things, I've noticed that there are always potential in every challenge if we look at it closely. Like Shirley rightly mentioned, that if we look closely, there are benefits to what we're going through, finding your true self. And with me and my son, like the first few days, it was a challenge. He didn't understand why he couldn't go to school. But after explaining to him that the government said, stay at home, read your book, and after a while, we got into a routine. And I must say, in the past week plus, his communication has increased because I get to spend more time with him. I get to do a lot of things with him. We do the cooking together. He's my chief seasoning officer. So that helps with, yeah, that helps with coordination. It helps his communication. He's able to speak back. And it has helped me discover more talent, the skills I didn't know, abilities that I didn't know that I had. It helped me as I'm more patient now. I'm more
Oh,
patient.
wow.
Absolutely. So in the midst of the chaos, there has been some benefit, and it started with me, and it has extended to my son. And it's just been an amazing journey. Now he does puzzles. He's flying. He wants to. His inquisitiveness has increased. So putting
Wow.
all this together, these are things that will help me for the next laugh out loud. Being able to see the light through the dark tunnel. There's always light, and that has spurred me in my journey so far.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's so powerful. I mean, a
Thank
number of
you.
things have stuck out so far today. The need for us to connect to our inner selves, connect to ourselves first before we can connect with people. The need for us to connect to people around us and always be able, like Trish started off there, being able to ask for help, not refusing help because we think we're supermen or superwomen, but recognizing that help is there. People are around us for a reason and taking that help, and also being able to use every situation that happens,
Absolutely.
turning it
Absolutely.
around for the positive,
Absolutely.
like you just mentioned now. That is
And
so amazing. Yes,
my
go
time,
on. You wanted to mention one more thing.
yeah, and my time out. Like we say that it's okay not to be okay. But I always
Yes.
add this sentence: it's okay not to be okay, but it's never okay to remain not okay.
Mm,
Yeah, that
mm,
is where the aspect of asking for help is not a sign of weakness. I remembered when the initial years when I was battling, I was in the throes of depression. I was crying out, but people around me did not know the signs, did not record. And that's the problem. A lot of people are going through depression or going through whatever challenge, but we are not aware of the sign. Like there was a day I went to do shopping. It was meant to be a skirt. For some
mm.
reason, it looked like a dress to me. And I wore it out like that. And the woman, I went to her store to buy something. She said, Sir Gladys, it must be very hot out there today. But my dressing was a show of it was a cry.
A
But
cry for
nobody,
help.
yeah, it was a cry for help. But nobody noticed. And when I was initial years, when I was talking about depression, some people would tell me, don't talk about it. But I
Mm,
gained strength by talking about it. And in talking about it, got created awareness about it. Now, the people I've encountered know that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to say that, oh, this times that we're going through, it's affecting me negatively.
mm,
I can't do
mm,
this. It's okay to say that. It's not a sign of weakness. I was listening to a sermon the other day, and the man said, worry is not weakness. It just
mm,
shows that we are human. And we are all human. We go through stuff. We only break down, like one of the guest said, when we allow these things to accumulate. So sometimes it is not even the initial challenge, it is not the coronavirus, the isolation that will break people, but because they had
mm.
accumulated lots of stress over time. So being enclosed in close quarters will now cause them to explode. So
Wow.
it's okay to be not to be okay, but it's never okay
Not
to remain
okay
not.
to remain not okay for too long. Trish, I'm going to bring you in there. Gladys mentioned there that we have to learn to ask for help. And sometimes people don't notice the sign. Before I ask you the question, I'm going to say to our audience, if you're watching, start sending in your questions. If you have questions for a guest today, Gladys, for Trish, for Shirley, and for Sarah, start sending in your questions. These are people who have expertise in working with people across the globe, and they've had experiences themselves in dealing with situations of mental health and wellness, overall wellness, body, mind, and spirit. So please send in your questions. We have questions coming in already, but before we go to the very first question, I want to bring you on, Trish, and ask you, just based on what Gladys has said there, about asking for help, and sometimes people not recognizing the signs. That is a big challenge. You're talking and chatting with someone on a regular basis, but you don't notice when things have changed about them, that something just isn't right. And when that cry for help really starts. So they may not be in a position to say to you, I need help. They may not actually say those words, I need help. But what should we be doing as a society to begin to pay attention more to the needs of people around us? So Trish, would you take that?
Yeah, I think one of the things, maybe in terms of noticing the signs, is it's important that we build meaningful relationships with people. Because when you have a meaningful relationship, you're able to notice a difference in patterns. Because naturally, as human beings, we are creatures of habit. And you'll find that sometimes perhaps a particular individual you're close to has become particularly quiet. Something seems off. You suggest ideas, maybe to have a coffee, and you're constantly getting rejections about this thing or that thing, and so on. And I think once we're able to build these meaningful relationships that allow us to identify when there's a change in behavior, that would probably be one of the first steps. And having recognized that there is a change and that there's a possibility that somebody is struggling, be it with depression, anxiety, or stress, a simple phone call to figure out, how are they doing? It's very difficult for people to ask for help, but my go-to is often asking them to help me, because what I have found is that people may not be able to ask for help, but then they may be willing to give help. And it is in that interaction that you can sort of dig deeper to understand if there are any areas that they may be struggling, and to also reinforce that within your friendship, within your relationship, with everything, it's a two-way street, and that you are there, present, ready, and willing to help should they need the help. And because people may not always say it out loud, suggest a few things. Help in stand in the gap, whatever you think the gap may be, and maybe with a bit more interaction and being present for that person, they might just open up and share what it is that's going on.
I love that bit when you said, well, if they're not asking for help, then I will ask them for help. And perhaps that will draw them out. And
Yeah.
it will get them to, because they feel the need to do something for you, it gives you the opportunity then to draw them out. I really love that. And I believe maybe that's something we need to take on board. When we begin to notice the signs and we're asking people, how are you? I mean, the general answer usually when you ask people, how are you? They say, I'm okay, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's so easily the answer, I am fine. But a lot of people are not fine. They're not fine. And we've talked about leaning on people. So I've got a question here from Faith. And Faith says, and I might come to Shirley to take on this particular question. So I'll bring Shirley on now. And Faith says here, sometimes it's hard to lean on people because I feel sometimes the people you think you can lean on are the ones who hurt you.
Okay.
So Shirley, what do you
So,
think about that? And how do you deal with that?
So the people you lean on might be the ones that hurt you. I suppose we know this, that I suppose we can act out our stuff when we're in close relationship with people, and therefore maybe some of our ways that we have patterns to communicate. And if that's not maybe looked at and developed, so the person you're going to look for help from is actually the person who is going to maybe not give that help. So I suppose it's about maybe asking a question and seeing, well, because I work a lot with asking questions, and rather than maybe concluding into, I can't ask him or her, he'll hurt me again. I suppose we have to be aware of someone we go to who hasn't been very helpful in from a behavioral aspect over a period of time. They may not be the right person to ask for help. So I suppose you could ask a question, because I just want to explain this, Yemi. We are brought up to be programmed into a world whereby we conclude and project our reality. Now, if we're the ones who create our reality, and if we can try and come out of concluding into, this, like coming into conclusions on who's the right person, who's the wrong person, maybe just sit. I'm probably not going to answer the question the way she might want the answer, but I'm going to give her a question and sit and go, okay, in this 10 seconds, who is the person that could contribute to me the most? Now, she's not looking for a particular answer that she can write it down straight away to ring the person or to get in touch, but she's just sitting to go, okay, please, can you guide me? And you're kind of literally asking the universe, because you're opening up a question, opens up a reality, a conclusion shuts it down. And she might just go, well, who is the best person here? We can't be fooled that someone who's already hurting us might be the person that's going to come there and help us again. So she might have to reach out to her wider network of friends, maybe a professional online counsellor, or also sit with that question. And something might come in the next little while, and she go, oh my God, I would never have thought of that person, but I'm prompted, and I'm going to ring that particular person. I'm going to ask for help from that person.
Wow, amazing, amazing. So it's I suppose it's like the saying that because a person who falls off a horse, it doesn't mean that they're not going to ride a horse again. Or a person who has an accident in a car doesn't mean they're never going to get in a car again. You just have to get in a car. I mean, you're going to drive around and you're going to move around. If you survive the accident, you get back in again. So it's basically the same that you're saying, that if people will always hurt us. That's the reality of life, isn't it?
Absolutely.
People will always hurt us. Sometimes the people we trust the most are the ones who can hurt us the quickest and the easiest. Because they understand us. I'm going to bring everybody on right now, because the people we know and we trust, they understand every single button that we have. They know if they push one button, they've got us. If they push another button, we get upset. And so they know what buttons to push, isn't it? So
the
it's
triggers.
us, first of all, the trigger, exactly. It's us being conscious of the fact that there are triggers there, and the reality that life is about pain and gain, and about laughter and sadness. It's a mixed grill, isn't it? And people will hurt us and people will make us happy. But it's leaning towards those who can make us happy and feel better the most. Yes?
Absolutely. Can I just add there, the work that I do in access consciousness, and that we won't have time here to really talk too much about it, but anyone can get in touch with me, and there's I do free online Facebook groups around it. But it's, do you choose to live your life in pain, suffering, and glory, or ease, joy, and glory? Because it's a choice. We all have choice as well, so we do have choice. Yeah.
So tell me, Gladys, I'll come back to you, Gladys.
Okay.
The things that people should look out for. I know Trish should mention one or two things there, and so Shirley, but I want you to specifically mention things that people could look out for to notice that somebody is probably crying out for help. From your experience, what are the things? Just very quickly in one sentence.
if you notice something out of the ordinary, and I think Trish, I think that's the key thing. Someone that is usually bubbly, all of a sudden goes quiet. It could be that something is wrong. So if you're a friend, you will be when something is out of order, like in behavior, like me in the then when I was going through depression, I was always crying for it. You could ask me, how are you? And the next thing is I'll start crying. But it's
Wow.
just, that brings the issue of religion, if you don't mind. And the
Yes.
answer will be, it is well, without asking me what exactly is wrong with me. That would have opened up a conversation for us to don't. The thing is, we part over issues without discussing issue, and that does more damage than good. Let's learn to dig in, if allowed, because it's not everybody that will open up their space, but at least make an attempt. Yeah, it's always, how are you? How are you really? That will go a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you
Very, very
really?
good.
How are
Very
you?
good.
Yeah.
Very good. So please keep sending in your questions. We're coming close to the end of our show, but keep sending in your questions. We'll take your questions. And we've got our guest here. I think somewhere along the line we lost Sarah there, but I'm hoping that she would reconnect again before we're rounded up on the program. I'm going to come back to you, Trish. So when people look for the signs, when they see that someone's behavior is changed from their normal behavior. They would normally be bubbly and suddenly they've changed, they're no longer bubbly. In one sentence, how should people handle it? Because not everybody would know what to do. Some
Yeah.
people don't know what to do with that information. What should they do with the information they gather, noticing that somebody's attitude or behavior has changed?
I think one of the ways that people can work on it if they don't feel equipped to handle it themselves is to either find a common friend, common relative, somebody who they think might be in a better space to reach out to this person. Um, and that was what I would put as a recommendation. But I think, like I said, with everything, inquisition, ask if this person is truly a good friend, a good relative. A little bit of prying respectfully
Yeah.
could help them open up. So where you can, just try. If it doesn't work, find common ground, find a common person who is
Yeah.
qualified to have this very important conversation with this person.
Very good. Very good. And one way I want us to get people thinking now of their own mental wellness is what we should be doing on a daily basis. So it shouldn't be all of a sudden we're trying to be well mentally. But I suppose it's building it into our daily lives, our daily routine, and that helps us then to put ourselves in a better state of mind. Shirley, what are some of the things we should be doing? You mentioned a meditation there earlier on. That's one powerful thing that people should be doing a lot more. I should be doing more of that myself.
Yes.
I started doing it and I haven't done it in a while now. So I think it's really powerful. The times when I did it, I got a lot from it because it even
Yeah.
gets you to you calm down. Mind, body, spirit, it's all calm. And you're in a space that you can't even explain. It's hard to
Exactly.
explain it unless you do it.
Yes.
So that's one way.
Hmm.
Are there other ways, very quickly, that people should
Yeah.
start to work towards getting themselves in a good state of mind?
I think I said breathing as well, which we're all,
Breathing.
privy to not breathing. And that's just a simple, just breath work. I also think going out onto the land and standing on the ground and running this process. It's called communication and restoration with the earth. Run it 3 times. Communication and restoration with the earth. Communication and
So what's that
restoration with the
process
earth.
again? Say that again. You stand on the
On
ground.
the ground, bare feet. You're literally bringing that presence of yourself connected with Mother Earth, and you're saying communication and restoration with or of the earth. And you say that 3 times.
Communication and
And
restoration
restoration of and with the earth.
of
And
and with the earth.
Yes, because the earth is our mother, you know, and I think this is what this is showing us, that our mother is sad, our mother has been unhappy, and we're on a global reset. It's not just any one person, it is us. We're on a level playing field. It is everyone, so there's no one left out. And the other thing is, as I said, you can join me in my meditation because it's assisted breathing, access consciousness. This is one I love, and it's very basic, and you can all say it with me. I'll say it once and then you can say it again
And
with
we'll
me.
follow you. Are you ready, ladies?
Yeah, so
Trish
you're
and
ready?
Gladys, so you're ready.
Yeah.
We follow Shirley now.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so it's very simple. You say all of life
All of
All of life
comes to me
comes to
comes
me
to me
with ease, joy,
To
and
me
glory.
with ease,
with
joy, and
ease, joy,
glory.
and
Joy and
glory.
glory. So once
with
more,
ease,
all of
joy,
life
and glory.
All of
All
life
of life
comes to
comes
All of
me
to,
life
comes to
comes
me
to me
with
with
ease, joy,
comes
and
ease,
to me
glory.
with
with
ease, joy,
ease, joy, and glory.
And
and
what that
glory.
means,
with
glory,
ease,
is the
joy, and
exuberance,
glory.
the exuberant living of life, and it's the touching
Mm,
into the mysteries of what we don't know. We're human. There's so much that goes on beyond this. There's mysteries we can't know cognitively, but by
mhm,
running that, we connect into the mysteries of the universe. And one other thing I use, Yemi, and the other two I'm showing you are lovely free practices you can do. This one,
mm.
it is something one has to pay for, but I work with the best global company of essential oils in the world, and they're really brilliant at lowering stress, building our immunity, and just kind of reconfigurating our neurology, how we think. They're mood enhancers. And this one I use all the time is balance, because again, if people haven't had much balance in their lives, and it's a lovely blue oil, and
I
there's loads
feel
of
like I should do
frankincense.
that, and you should squat that into my hand right now.
I know, here, smell everyone. I know. And then it says, this is where I wish social media had a smell filter. And
Wow.
that's it. Yeah. And to pray, you know, and be grateful. This is
Yeah.
actually, of all of it, can I just say that if we're not in gratitude, we're in judgment, and we're busy judging everything, and we're going to probably judge it as wrong and not
Yeah,
right.
Mm,
Whereas if we're in gratitude, and even in when we think, you know, it's really crappy out there, that we have to be grateful for everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and be grateful for
absolutely.
everything as a blessing sent
It,
to us. So I think gratitude would be a huge thing. Really try and work on gratitude. And when one is going, I judged, it doesn't matter. Just go, okay, I'm going to go into
yeah, mo-
gratitude and try
yeah,
and not
yeah.
complain for a day and anything,
And
even,
that is so
yeah,
powerful, Shirley. So
yeah,
powerful. I mean,
absolutely.
for you to understand the power of gratitude, I
yes.
wrote an entire book about it.
Oh,
The power
wow.
of thank you, developing an attitude of gratitude. And just
Fabulous.
while you were using your essential oil there, first of all, I can say I vouch for it because I've used it and I
Yes.
know that it works. And you see, I'm also in the spirit here. You could see me. I was trying to ravage through my bag there, and I've got mine right here as well. So
Oh,
see, and I'm going to do my own. That is so powerful.
yeah, yeah,
Nice essence. It really gives that settled feeling in the mind. And you're so right. Perhaps Facebook should have a smell filter where people
yeah.
where people can actually smell
I
how
know.
nice how nice this is.
Uh-huh.
Just before we just got Maria back there. We lost her a while there, but we just got Maria back, and I'm going to just get Maria back in to join us. Hi, Maria. We lost you there. It's great to have you back.
I just
Hi there.
technology, it's
I
not.
know these things happen, and we're praying that we'll have you back. We're just about rounding up the show because we like to keep it to the time. But
Uh-huh.
I really want to start to say thank you to everyone. Sarah, one last word for people, just to help them begin to live a life of consciousness that helps them stay mentally well and alert. One last word from you.
Find what your joy is.
Yeah.
Do something every day that brings you a little bit of joy, whether it's dancing, whether it's cooking, whether it's writing, meditating, anything at all. And gratitude as well. But I think that when we focus on joy, that just kind of elevates our vibration, and then it's easier to navigate through whatever it is that life gives us.
That's
So
true.
find what your joy is
And do it.
And do
and
something,
do it.
whether it's like dancing for 2 minutes or dancing for 5 minutes or meditating or spending quality time with your family that you're cooped up with at the moment, or anything.
Find it and do it. Thank you,
Exactly.
Sarah. Gladys, one last word from you for people to begin to live a more conscious life about staying mentally healthy.
But particularly in this time, filter what you hear. Set up a filter. It is not everything that you see on social media that is good for you.
Mm,
Have a time limit for the news that you consume. So that will help your inner well-being. Don't just take in everything. There's so much that the human bandwidth can take. So
mm,
take little that you need and leave the rest
mm.
in joy.
Wow. Thank you so much. Shirley, one last word for the people from you.
Just, I suppose, love. Love.
Hmm. Love,
Love.
love, love.
Love, love, love. Love yourself and everything else will happen. And ease, joy, and glory. Ease, joy, and glory. Few extra words, but there you go.
Love is powerful, and love is just what the world needs now. Love yourself so you can love others. Very good. Trish, one last word from you.
My recommendation is find the thing that gives you peace and stay true to your inner self.
Mm. Find that thing that gives you peace and stay true to your inner self. Be genuine. Thank you
Mhm.
so, so much, guys. Um, Sarah, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for being my guest on the show today. It's been such a delight having you on the show. Thank you. Um, I'm just going to see you right there so I can see a proper thank you. Let's have Sarah back. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so, so much. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today. God bless
Thank you
you.
for having me.
Thank you. I want to say a massive thank you as well to Trish. Thank you so much, Trish, for linking with us
Thank you,
all the
Yemi.
way
It's
from
been fantastic.
Kenya. It's been brilliant
Yeah.
having you on the show. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you for having me.
And I want to say massive thank you to Gladys. Thank you, Gladys. It's been lovely sharing of your wealth and your experience with us. Thank you so much. Oh, we lost you there. Yes. Thank you, Gladys. Lovely having you on the show. And thank you once again, everyone, for joining us. Shirley, it's been great having you. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today, Shirley. Thank you so, so much. And it's like they do, namaste. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I suppose so much has been said today. I want to encourage every single person who's been a part of the show today. You've heard us. Everyone has their moments when they have ups and they have downs. And this is just about the time for us to begin to reflect on how conscious we are of a mental state of mind. When we have the chance is when we're alive. So it's better to take time to recharge and reset our mental state now that we're in isolation, so that when we come out again, we're in a better space. For everyone who's struggling with their mental health or they're struggling with their well-being, first, ask for help. Not everyone who is out there is out to hurt you. And if people hurt you, other people will lift you up. So always ask for help. And for those who are supposed to be the help, When people ask for help, you may not have all the answers. Sometimes you need to refer people to a place where they can get the answers they require. If you think you have the answers, be of great support to everyone around you, right? And if you don't, refer them to the avenues where they can get the support. Love is what the world needs. Everyone's struggling with one thing or the other right now. So you can be a solution or a problem. It's a choice. Choose to be a solution that helps people live better lives and remain better in their well being. In the world today, love is what we need. Thank you all so much for being a part of the show today. I've been delighted with all my guests and all the wonderful contributions they've made on the show. And thank you all for your wonderful contributions. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Today, we talked about handling and dealing with our mental well-being. Tomorrow, I hope to see you and we'll be sharing another social impacting topic. God bless you. Have a brilliant, brilliant evening and stay well. Cheers.